Hey there, Larson here. Let's make a very cool Bro Stafari style drop, something like this. Now, before we jump into it, let me tell you that I have a very big announcement and a very big surprise for you guys, which I'm going to reveal soon, so stay tuned. Probably this week or maybe next week I will reveal everything, and I am very excited to share this with you guys. It is going to be huge and awesome, so please get ready. I'm so pumped to do this and I'm so pumped to share it with you guys. But now let's jump into the sound. So this is the bass sound we are talking about. And actually I modulated only one parameter here, which is in Serum macro. I mean, it's macro 1, I believe, and it's called articulation, but we will talk about it a little later. First, let's check the patch itself. So I used this wavetable, which is from one of my best friend, Camille. You know, Synthesize, who her first time it is making tons of Serum patches. The oscillator B is a basic shapes wavetable with asymmetric minus warping mode. And I use oscillator B to modulate oscillator A, like frequency modulated. And oscillator A warping mode, which is a frequency modulation, is assigned to macro knob 1, as you can see. So when I turn this knob up and down with this modulation envelope, basically I'm changing the FM of the sound. And there is another thing I modulate it with, is the cutoff on the filter, which is in HP mode, which is the best thing, you know, if you want to create some very nice articulation sound. And this is the thing here. Now, this knob is which makes the sound a little complexer, because without that, let me show you. As you can hear, it doesn't articulate that much. Now, I have LE41 and I use it on oscillator A level because, you know, I just wanted to make it wobble. I don't want to have a continuous sound, and wavetable position 1. And of course, like the filter modulation, so the regular cutoff knob modulates the frequency cutoff of the high pass filter, and the frequency modulates the peak filter. And altogether, as you move them, creates a very nice wobbly kind of like EQing on the sound. That is very nice. So if you want to create wobbly kind of sound, I highly recommend you to use the high pass. I mean the high pass and peak filter, which is the HP12 filter. It's very nice. Now I didn't use any unison voices here, but going to the effects, I use some heavy hyper and dimension expander stuff to, you know, make our sound wide and nice. Also some distortion, but it's not very drastic. As you can see, I use a tube and I modulate the drive using LE41 just slightly, so it is not too much, it's about 40%. The reverb filter gives a very nice different stuff, different tone to it. It's an interesting fact that with the reverb filter, the sound turns a lot cleaner. And this is because of the very long feedback on the delay. And I use that to create a metallic kind of tone, which is a very common technique. So if you didn't notice, just set the length or the delay time very short. In this case, I'm using it at about like 1.3. And a very long feedback, so this will turn your sound into this metallic kind of tone, and the compressor like always. So it is a very simple stuff, but on itself, without these effects, this sound a little weird. So let me show it. So what to do to make this sound fatter? Of course, the first step is use an OTT. But if I use an OTT, listen to this. Very weird artifacts. So I use an EQ to cut the very lows and add a little on the middles and some, you know, adjustments on the highs, especially boosting a little the very highs and chopping a little on the 8K area. also reverb. But it is still crazy delay. Now, a vocoder is a magic tool, so it really is. If you activate it, it just somehow decreases the length of the delay tails. And this may be because of the bands, you know, because a vocoder always splits out the spectrum into bands. This time I'm using 40 bands, and because of the compression this vocoder applies on the sound, it somehow decreases the length of the tails. So I really love this, and actually I put this vocoder, I mean the Ableton vocoder, on tons of my sounds only because of this exact effect. You know, it just somehow cleans up the sound. It's a very nice technique. I highly recommend you again to use, or at least try and experiment with vocoder. It's very nice stuff. So this is the sound itself. Of course, a saturator at the end, you know, to make it a little fat, to make it a little fatter. But altogether, the sound is very, very simple. As you can see, I'm just using a wavetable, which is FM modulated by another wavetable. In this case, just a simple, yeah, it's a triangle wave. An HP filter, like always, compressor, distortion, and a delay to make it, you know, metallic and trendy, basically. This is all here. Additional effects were the OTT, an EQ, a reverb, and the magic tool, the vocoder, to get rid of those irritating delay, long tail kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and see you next time, guys. Bye bye.